I thought I'd do a little, like a little series of how-to and helpful videos. I know that these probably would have helped me out a bit more in the start. Just would have saved me having to Google things, research things myself. I'm not telling you anything that some of you probably don't already know, and I'm not really telling you anything that you couldn't find out elsewhere. But I do just think it's important to be supportive of like this racing sphere. There's the whole band of racing Twitter where arguments left, right, and centre. I just don't get it personally. I just feel like everyone's doing a similar thing. We all enjoy talking horses. We all want to get some content out there. So I get asked on occasions about some of the things that I do and how I do them. And I'm always happy to be honest and answer questions for people. So rather than going through it over and over again with people, I just thought I'd whack up a quick video now showing you how I do a few bits and pieces. There's a few ideas I've got lined up for these how-tos. I'll get them out as and when I can, hopefully once a week. Maybe I'll try and get a couple out a week, just depends on life. But this first episode, I'm going to be showing you how I do my usual like preview. So when I'm having a chat with 1, 2, 3 people, the software that I'm using, how I'm doing it. And yeah, hopefully this will be helpful for a few of you. So the recording side of it, we used to use Skype, free to use and fairly decent. Just because it was free to use, there was no sort of watermarks on there. The problem that I found with it was, on occasions when I recorded, at the end of it, the video had become corrupted and you couldn't access it. So you couldn't actually play what you've just recorded. I did the interview of Harry Cobden, and honestly, I finished it and the video wouldn't open up straight away. And I was thinking, what have I done? I actually got to the point where I was thinking of using my phone on the side to record the screen. It's ridiculous. So I wanted to use something different. Zoom is free. The problem with Zoom for the free side of it is when you've got more than like a couple of people within there, you get 40-minute window is your maximum. So if you want to do longer videos, you'd have to stop and start again. So you can get around it, but you can pay for a premium service, which eliminates that. But we're talking about free options here. So you can use Zoom. I'm going to show you a quick run through on a screen grab of setting that up. So you will open the Zoom application, you'll just click new meeting. Now, in my instance, I'm going to talk about how I turn off my camera and how I use my phone to get a better sound quality. Most laptops have got inbuilt webcams in them now, but mine, the microphone is poor and the actual picture quality on the webcam is not the greatest. So I prefer to use my phone because I can use that as the microphone, saves you wearing the headset. Now, I mute the audio in terms of my microphone. I then, in the audio settings, I turn the volume down because I don't want to hear it out of here. It will echo through the microphone on my phone when I let that come up. I'll go to invite somebody else. So if I'm getting Matt, Daryl, or Jamie in there, I'll send them an email. But with that code, I open the Zoom app on my phone. I click join. I type in that code. It won't even ask for a password because I'm logging in through the same account. And then that will bring up my mobile side of things. I can hide the video on the other one. And when I'm doing the recording, it only shows what's on my screen in front of me. So what you guys can see now, although there'll be 2 instances of me on the participant list. When it's just that and one other person, shouldn't be a 40-minute limit. It's when I add other people into the fray that it causes it. So that clears that up a little bit. If you've got your own webcam, you can just link to it. If you've got separate microphones, you can link to them and just plug them in your port. I've got Bluetooth headsets I sometimes use. Again, you don't need to spend loads of money. Just use your phone and use your laptop for a Zoom. So that's how we're going to record something. You can change the views on Zoom, so you can have it by speaker, so it puts one of the faces to the forefront. I prefer to put everyone in the same screen, and I'll explain why in the next part that I'll be showing you in here, which goes onto the software that I'll be using to edit the videos. Now, the recording that comes off of Zoom, Skype, etc. So if you time it right, and you just talk right at the start and you cut it off right at the end, you could just upload that straight to YouTube. No frills. It will take you not very long, less than the time that it took to record the whole episode to upload it to YouTube. You can create a thumbnail customly, just make a picture that you can upload into there. Makes the video look a little bit fancier for when people are getting advertised on their options or suggested list on the side. But I prefer putting a bit of extra effort in. I prefer to edit it to try and make it look a little bit crisper, a little bit neater. It does take me a lot longer to do it, which I'll come on to at latter stages of this. But next up, I'll just go through this software that I use, which again is free. I have got a paid for service that I use, although I don't really use the paid for elements of it just yet. But it's a free service to use. So hopefully using Zoom, I can share the screen, and then this will show us what we need to see, and this will come in within the recording. So you'll see my little dots up to the side. So this is Wondershare Filmora, which is a free to download software. And I got a lifetime subscription for 50 quid, I think. So I just paid for it because I thought, why not? So what will happen is you can see that I've got some media that's already in here. So this is the screen recording that I took a little bit before, just saying that I can show you how you set up with Zoom. You get messages and things that pop up. So the resolution of this frame rate does not match up the media settings of this project. Do you want to change to match this media? I mean, there's in-depth stuff you can go into technically for that, but just boom, match the media, it'll come out nicely. Within here, you'll be able to slide the bar across, which will take you to different segments within the video. What I need to say with this is, it's not rocket science, but it does take a tiny bit of experience to use this stuff. Now, what I'll do for the multiple screen part of it is I'll import the file. So the Skype calls will be recorded, or the Zoom calls will be recorded into a destination folder. You go to that folder, you will choose the file that comes in. You can import everything from a folder if you want multiple stuff. Here you can import from a camera or a phone. There's just lots of different ways of doing it. So if you wanted to lay a background in there, you might want to upload the image, and then you'll put the image on one of these tracks. And then when you want to put the next layer in, so the video that's on top of it, you'd put in another track. So let me I'll pick out the one that me and Matt did yesterday, just for the purpose of importing something. So we've imported something in there. Now to lay this as a track above, we'll do this. Now it's a hierarchy system, so you know that the one that's on top is going to take precedence over the one that's below, which is why when we skim across a little bit, this is taken over the whole thing. Now, because there's two of us that are in the video, I will ultimately crop this, or put this in twice. I can just drag it up from the top again. We've got both of them in there because they're starting at the same point. The reason why I copy and paste is because I might crop the start, but because they're starting from the same point, lip sync and everything will be fine. You can right click on one of them and mute it, because otherwise you get double audio. You don't want that. We can crop and zoom on one of the videos. Now it will be set to a certain frame rate, which is the ratio of what the screen is. Because I'm using a mobile, you see my box is smaller than Matt's. So if I was to crop this for Matt, it would fit in nicely for that ratio. So we could do that. Because I want the videos to look, or the size of ours to be about the same, I'll crop to me under custom. So you can see there, that's just going to cut me out, but I'll move this over to Matt's one. So although he's got the excess on the side, it's going to be about the same side, if you see what I mean. We'll see Matt's has changed there. We can resize that so it goes down a bit smaller. Then I'll crop and zoom on the other track, the original one that I put in there. We'll go custom again. We just want my beautiful face in this time. Chop this down. And the reason I'm going in a little bit on the cropping is if you go too perfectly on the edges, sometimes I've just experienced that it overlaps a little bit, so you can get some black edges. So just chop a bit out, you know, make sure you're in your camera in the first place. So you've got them roughly the same size. You can see there that it's automatically putting things in the middle if you want it. I'll line these couple up against each other, and then hey ho, if you wanted to put boxes around them, borders, etc., you could create that in an image template that you'd lay as another track underneath, or you can add stuff in here. You can add text, all different bits like that, effects, elements. You can do lots of different stuff, but this is obviously me just trying to do it fairly briefly and talking about how you might want to do a preview or a few of you talking about it. Now, when it comes to the editing parts within here, you can get to stages in here where you might want to set the focus onto somebody else. So there may be more than one way to do these sort of things. I'm not saying that I know everything, but this would be the particular way that I would do it. We've got the sound, remember, off of this bottom one. So we want to make sure that they're both in there, but it may be the case that we don't actually want to keep this one in there. The whole time we might just want to detach the audio, or we might just want to hide it. We might just want to put an effect in there so that you can't see it. We might just want to be that Matt is the prominent face that's in there. So there's multiple ways to do it, but for a quick, easy, dirty for doing it now, if I just put me underneath Matt, because Matt's on the hierarchy, if I wanted to put Matt in focus for this particular instance, that's exactly what's going to happen. So the video will be playing. You can see there the background bits flicking as it's doing. We would be talking as we would be doing. As soon as it skips into the next section where we've cropped and cut, and you see we've dragged it about, Matt then goes into focus. And if it was cropped again, it would go back out. So there's bits of ways of changing your focus if you want within there. Don't need to drag about it too much with there. That's basically the editing software that I use. From within here, you can save the project. and then you can go again. So from my anti-up episodes, I've got a template that I've set up. So I just open the template, it will have bits and pieces that are in there. So let's have a look at opening them up. So you can see there's the template in there. You can see there's all sorts of different bits that are in there. They're all my episodes that are in there after. Let's open up this template. I think this has actually got some footage in there. This project's been modified. If you want to save the changes, I don't care for now. And then a backup was found for that. So this is good with Wondershare. They will back up any changes you make to a file if you haven't saved it, but I don't care. I just want it as it is. You will then get some missing files that might come in. So I'm to clear space on my PC. I might have got rid of some of the videos. Just ignore. You wouldn't have to worry about that if you set your template up properly in the first place. But you'll see now that this, although it's a template of sorts, is actually pretty much the content of an episode that's in there. And you'll see now that I've built up layers and layers and layers of tracks. So this, the bottom layer here, is my background. I've got a ribbon that goes across here to use for my ticker bar. There may be better methods to use for ticker bar for this particular instance than what I'm doing, but basically I just spill the text in here and then I split it so that they're lined up, work out the time, and then when we were to click play with it, the text goes across. When it moves from one text bubble to the next bubble, I've lined up the text. You see there, Fostinovic is the one that's next to each other, so they sort of line up. And then if we were to go across in here in the text, you'll see there where it finishes on some text for one horse or another. Be this one when it Fostino, you see. And then when we were playing it in the clip, that's how I do a ticker bar, basically. We'll have selections that will be put in as well. So there'll be bits of text that are written in here. Again, the ribbon's just sat across there. We'll have our total picks. There'll be week one selections, things like this. And then I've got other image templates that I might use at the end to show our total picks. You can export it directly to YouTube, which is really handy because otherwise you've got to create the video, store that on your PC, and then upload. The only negative is if your videos start getting long, i.e. anything over 20 minutes, basically, it's an absolute ball ache in time frames to get this edited, uploaded to YouTube. It can take a couple of hours, to be honest. The one I did last night, the anti-up, was an hour episode. That crashed after 2 hours of trying to upload. It just failed to complete. So I had to then export the video manually and then put it onto YouTube. Now, I used to just create the video and then upload to YouTube just to save any issues of it not uploading the first time round, but it is a bit quicker if you upload directly to YouTube. Anywho, the one that I did last night, we started recording about 8:30. We finished recording about 10 because we talked in a bit before and after. By the time I'd edited it, ready to go up, was about 11:15, and by 1:30 it failed. So I had to start again. 3:30 it took me until I got this finally uploaded. So you can see why people just upload in the raw sense of a Zoom call, but I don't know. I think it's worth the effort personally. Now, this is just for like a preview, a Zoom chat that you might be doing. You want to create things. The templates that I create, I do them on my phone just because it's a bit easier to edit. I use Bazaar, which is a free app on there, so you can use blur functions. You can create little mini videos, little mini GIFs on there as well. You can edit, you can blend. You can just try and make fancy thumbnails, basically, and that's what's going to attract people to click on the videos, I guess. Make it look a little more professional if you're going to do a theme. So with these anti-up ones I've done, I've had the same similar front screen. It's just the episode number changes. And yeah, that's basically how I will create an episode when we do a preview. So I'll record it via Zoom, as I've shown you through the method there. I will then edit it in Wondershare Filmora, depending on the depth of editing. Sometimes it will literally just be, I've got a background screen that I want to put it on. I'll crop those 4 videos, mute the 3 that I don't want to hear the volume off, because you only need the volume once because they're all running at the same time. And then I'll put them in the 4 boxes like we did for these rundown for Cheltenham preview, like the mid preview things. Created that template on my phone, just uploaded the image onto my computer, put it in the background, stretched it for the length of the video, cropped our ones up, uploaded them. And because we did them as individual videos, they're all about 10-15 minutes each. To upload onto YouTube took me about half an hour for each one. So you can see however many races we did. I don't know what it was, 16 videos or 14 videos, something like that. Takes the time to record it, so 3 or 3.5 hours I think we spent on Skype or Zoom recording it. Then for each video it's going to take me probably 5 minutes to edit each one of those, and then I've got to upload them, which is another half an hour. So you can see the amount of man hours that goes into putting the content out. Obviously if we just recorded via Zoom, I could just drag and drop that file after and put it onto YouTube, leave it to do its own thing, which would alleviate the editing and uploading time. But I think if your content's going to go out there, you should have a bit of pride in it. Should look quite good. And like I say, we're all just trying to achieve the same stuff. So I know it's getting close to Cheltenham now, and I know a lot of people will probably be interested or thinking, oh, I might fancy having a go at that. Maybe a little bit reluctant not saying that the stuff I put out there is worldly, but you might be a bit intimidated that someone like me puts a video out there that's got some edited aspects to it. Don't be. Just put your Zoom meeting up if you want, let people talk, but you're more likely to get people to look at your videos if you create that better thumbnail and you have a better background. So what I've shown you in here should enable you to do that. Any questions, comments, feedback, always appreciated. Just drop it in the comments or send me a message on the Facebook page or Twitter. I'll reply when I can. And yeah, look forward to seeing some more of your guys' content, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this.